Now, one of the big problems humanity and society faces is we're getting crammed into tighter and tighter living spaces, like there's no space left when there is space everywhere for everyone. Now, anyone who's watched the Aerial America series will see there is vast areas of this country alone uninhabited that can be developed to move people away from oceans and river systems that are causing much damage to homes, businesses and lives currently. Now, the days of having to live near water are now 150 years out of date. Back in the 1800s, we had no option. Now we do. And if we can build vast pipelines at vast cost to pipe bacteria poop around the country, which in and of itself is outdated technology, then we can build water pipelines that will actually serve many different purposes. But let's look at some of the reasons of why we can't develop certain land. And I want to make it clear, I'm not espousing about build on all land. Some land must be kept pristine and to preserve the ecology of the planet. But currently our building issues and the chaos it causes is beyond stupid at this point. Look at in America, we're building on barrier islands that runs right along most of the coastlines around America. That's clearly not clever thinking, is it? Look at Manhattan, or rather not. An island that resembles a child's Lego building creation. It's utter madness. As the buildings get higher, resembling a male competitive streak of my dick's bigger than yours mindset, it's beyond ridiculous. When a quarter to half of the other buildings in Manhattan are not even fully occupied. And all it takes is one tsunami or one errant storm and it all gets wiped away. So who are the biggest American landowners? Well, here is a fact that will disturb and anger most of you, as well as surprise. 72% of all land in America is privately owned by families. 72% owned by families. So let's look at the top 10. The heirs to David Pingree fortune inherited 830,000 acres of land. Now, for comparison, the state of Rhode Island is 900,000 acres. Stan Kroenke, who owns more than 865,000 acres of land in the US, an area that is 4.5 times the size of New York. Number 8, the heirs to the Richard King's historic ranch are kind of set for life. They have land that stretches over 6 Texas counties with over 900,000 acres of land. 7, we're going above the million now. Henry Singleton, the Singleton family acquired 1.1 million acres of land before his death in 1999, and in a span of 14 years purchased 28 ranches. 6. The Irvings are one of America's wealthiest families. From their dynasty's founding back in 1881, they have amassed 1.2 million acres of land. 5. The Reed family. They are owners of 1.3 million acres of land and celebrated their success by planting their 100 millionth tree in 2015. So at least they're putting something back. 4. Brad Kelly has accumulated 1.7 million acres of land in less than a decade. 3. The Emerson family own 1.9 million acres of land. That's over 2 Rhode Islands. The top 2 are both media moguls, no surprise. Ted Turner owns around 2 million acres of land across 7 states. And the leader is John Malone, is the largest landowner in the US with 2.2 million acres of land. And as a comparison, like I said, Rhode Island is about 900,000 acres. They're 2.5 Rhode Islands, one family. And wonder why there's nowhere to live and why people are getting crammed in inner cities, which leads to disease and violence. These people have to be stopped. As a comparison for the next portion of this report, the whole of London in the UK is 75,000 acres, with the City of London an extra 717 acres. Not the same place, completely different. So who are the biggest landowners in the UK? The Forestry Commission, 2.6 million acres. Bear in mind, Britain's a lot smaller, remember. The National Trust, 630,000 acres. Defence estates for the Ministry of Defence, 593,000 acres for defence. And the pension funds, 550,000 acres. I wonder, given that is the pension fund which belongs to the people, is those 550,000 acres going to be given back to the people? There you go, talking logic again, Thomas. Utilities, water, electricity and railways comprises 500,000 acres. The Crown Estate, 358,000 acres. The RSPB, which is bird protection, has somehow been allocated 322,000 acres for bird protection, and if you believe that, you really need a bang over the head. Bird protection, my ass. And the last one is the Duke of Buccleuch, or Buccleuch, and Queensberry. Probably haven't pronounced that right, but either way, I should just say parasites, easier to pronounce. They have 240,000 acres. You know, vast areas of land taken up by these families and groups. And the world's biggest landowners, awful lot of poor countries in this lot. Number 1 is the Queen of England. Number 2, King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia. While most of his people live in poverty. 3, the Pope, which probably should read the Vatican, while most of the Catholics live in poverty also. 4, King Mohammed of Morocco. That whole country is poverty, pretty much. King Bhumibol of Thailand. Number 6, Sultan Qaboos of Oman, another poor country. King Gyanendra of Nepal. 8, here's a surprise, Kidman Holdings. Yes, that Kidman, Nicole and family. The 8th largest landowners in the world. I'll have more on the Kidmans shortly. 9, King Abdullah of Jordan, another poor country. And 10, the AA Company of Brisbane. All of those 3 just read out are all an example of greed, not need. And this is why people are corralled into tighter spaces by these self-appointed families of so-called royal blood, often dating back centuries, when they are in reality They are no more entitled than any other human or being on this planet to that land. Land is for living and sharing. It's something these self-serving, greedy bastards have kind of forgotten. The planet and all of its resources belongs to us all, not certain families.